Friday. Our thanks to Dave Softy Mahler for joining us. That's got to be incredible this weekend in Seattle. They have everything going on. Kraken home opener. Mariners in the playoffs. First time in like 21 years since Brett Boone played there. They've got football and they've got UW all coming up this weekend. So it'll be fun to see. UW's a tough place to play. It'll be interesting to see how many fans that are season ticket holders for the Huskies will bail to go to the Mariners game because they're baseball crazy right now.
They love the Mariners
in Seattle. So how many will be up there? How many will go? But we'll be on the air with you starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow, counting down to the 2:30 kick. Arizona taking on the Washington Huskies. And again, I'm telling you, this is a winnable game. I went on Pac-12 radio last night after we got done after the show. They called me to come on, and I went on with O'Connell and Schwartz, who do the afternoon show on satellite radio. And they asked me, what's it going to take for Arizona to win? And I said, one thing. It's going to take one thing for Arizona to win, a stop. I'll repeat it. What's it going to take for Arizona to win? A stop. Arizona has to stop Washington once, a quarter, twice and a half, 3 or 4 times during the game. Washington's going to get theirs. That's just too prolific of an offense that you're going to be able to shut them down. Now, will Kalen DeBoer take what Arizona gives them, or will he try to outsmart himself and try to throw the football down the field? Everybody has a strength. Everybody has a weakness. We know the weakness for the University of Arizona is stopping the run defensively. They haven't been able to do that yet. We know that Washington, their Achilles heel is they can't stop the pass. That plays in Arizona's had. Jed Fish, throw the ball down the field. Let's go, pal. But for Kalen DeBoer, what you going to do? Are you going to try to throw the ball down the field because that's what you're really good at? Or will you take what Arizona's weakness is and get out of your game plan and get out of your own head and try to run the ball down their throat? I don't know.
Do they have anybody named Ott playing for them?
No. Their backfield's a little banged up. So if all things are chalk, all things stay the same, Arizona has an advantage because they can throw the ball down the field. And we've seen Arizona move the ball, and we've seen how bad Washington is pass defense, pass rush. So if Arizona gets in the track meet and as Jed Fish says, we're going to try to score every time we get the ball, bingo, go do that. And on defense, if I could just get a stop, if I can get a 3 and out, if you can get off the field a couple times and it turns into the track meet, then you win 49-35. If it's not and it just turns into the full-blown track meet, then whoever has the ball last wins. And that's what comes down to something I saw in the paper today that I just got to talk about. And I don't beat up other people a lot, but there was something I saw in there that I thought was taken out of context in Greg Hansen's column talking about Mr. Football. And he it's just a little out of context, but I see a lot of people running their mouths around town on do we need to see changes in the defense coordinator and the defense coaching slots? Jed Fish was asked this question leading up to, I think it was the Oregon game, that you look at a lot of the quarterbacks that are being very successful this season, they have long-term relationships with their offensive coordinators and offensive coaches. And we've been talking about that, and basically came, I think Michael Lev asked this question, and it was in relation to Jed and Jade Delore still trying to get to know each other. You hear Jed talk about all the time the trust. We have to learn to trust each other, and they do. Jade Delore has been asked to play a style of football that he's never played before in his life, and it runs counterintuitive to what he has a natural ability to do. Yeah, here's Jed Fish. JW has a soundbite that we've used a couple times. Here's Jed Fish talking about his relationship with Jane DeLora.
I think, every week we continued to build trust. He was 20 for 29 against North Dakota State, had no turnovers in a very good game. Against Cal, he threw for 401 yards and continued to move the ball this week. He did it again. I think every day we build more and more trust, and that's what it comes down to. This is year one, game 5 for us, and he's a sophomore coming out of a run-and-shoot system. So the more time he spends in our system, the better he's going to be. And he has all the gifts physically. So it's now a matter of just continuing to improve in the system.
So he's talking about the run and shoot, wide open offense that DeLaura has run through high school in his year at Washington State, compared to something that's a little bit more traditional, a little less freewheeling, a little less improvisation, and more scripted plays the way that you have in the National Football League. You see quarterbacks have that tough transition going from the college game to the pro style. Now we're watching somebody in the middle of his college career go from that college style to the pro style. But the question was asked about that because the two are still getting to know each other, and you look up and down this conference. DTR and Chip Kelly, they've been together for a long time. Bo Nix, how good is Bo Nix? He's pretty good. Who does he have with them? Kenny Dillingham, who was his offensive coordinator at Auburn. So when those two come to Oregon this year together, there's guys who've been together for a long time. Can we keep going through the rest of the conference where people are having some success? Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley, what's going on there? Been together for a long time. Let's see, where else can I go up and down this conference? And you kind of know where I'm going with this. Well, that was the question that was asked, but then it was kind of taken out of context by a lot of people, and it was a little confusing in the newspaper today. So I'm just going to tell you right now. I think one of the headlines is, one of the questions in Greg's column today was, do we need to look at, you know what, I don't want to do what I'm talking about other people doing. So let me make sure I read this correctly, because I want to respond back to this. I pay for this newspaper, so I actually read it. Here it is. I should have printed this out for you. I apologize as I'm getting it. Okay.
We can entertain, fill some time if you want.
Yeah, again, I told you, I'm all discombobulated because my wife's out of town.
Let me go look up and see if I can find any more Ben Mathurin dunk highlights.
All right, here it is. Dear Mr. Football, is Jed Fish the kind of man who would fire a defensive coach mid-season? But Fish this week preempted speculation he'll fire defensive coordinator Johnny Nansen without mentioning Nansen's name. Instead, Fish cited the success of ascending coach Lance Leopold, who has the same offensive and defense coordinators for a cumulative of 16 years. That wasn't even the gist of the question. The gist of the question about Lance Leopold and everything that he's done at Kansas, because they've done an amazing job since he's taken over for Les Miles, was, does having a coordinator working with that quarterback and having that system go help the development? Absolutely it does. If you're Jaden DeLaura, I think you've had 3 offensive coaches in the last 2 years. Because you had Rolovich, he got fired, so then you get a new coach coming in, and now you're with Jed. If you're, give me somebody else. If you're up there in Washington, and you're Michael Penix Jr., you've never worked with Kalen DeBoer before. Before that, you were at Indiana. The more continuity you have, the better chances you have for success. But as this gets, and I think this is out of context, the folks that are grumbling and rumbling and complaining and carping and other words they can't say on the radio, I'm just going to say it to you right now. And if you disagree with me, bring it. If you disagree with me, that's what this radio show's up about. You could call up and disagree with me all you want. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. But I'm going to tell you, for those of you that are complaining about Johnny Nansen and the defensive staff, simple fact of the matter is they don't have enough depth and they don't have enough dudes to win these battles that they're going up against the Oregons of the world, the North Dakota States of the world. They didn't have enough dudes and they didn't have enough players to go ahead and beat Cal. this team did a remarkable job. I said this on Pac-12 radio. This team has done a remarkable job shuffling the roster and bringing in 51 new players through recruiting in the portal. That's remarkable. But it's not enough. This team isn't deep enough. So here's what happens when I bring in 51 of those. All 51 better be a hit. I can't have anybody come in and not make it. See, that's the tough part about college sports. When I go out and get those 5 stars, there's 5 stars that play like 1 stars, and there's 1 stars that play like 5 stars. There's no guarantee because you got a bunch of stars next to your name, and you played in the Army All-American game, or you played in whatever all-star game that gave you that 5th star, that you're going to be a beast. There are plenty of guys that were all CIF and all state of Texas that just didn't make it to the next level. It's just a game. It's just a game. You're talking about predicting what a 17-year-old's going to do by the time he's 21. It's hard to do. They've done a remarkable job. I said this on the program yesterday. If we started the season and everybody started even in this conference, 1st and 10 on their own 25, 11 teams would have said, yeah, we're 1st and 10 on their own 25, except for Arizona, because as the season started, Arizona was still out in the parking lot. That's how far back Arizona football's been from everybody else in this conference. And the fact that they're not the worst team in this conference, the fact that they've jumped up over Stanford, California. California's probably still ahead of them. They jumped up ahead of Stanford. They jumped up ahead of Colorado. Colorado beat them 34-0 last year. Colorado fired their coach. Arizona is not the worst team in the Pac-12. It's probably 9, maybe 8 in this conference, from going from absolutely wouldn't even have called them 12 2 years ago. They were worse than that. It's been a remarkable turnaround. But if you want to see where Arizona is and where they need to get to challenge Oregon, to challenge UCLA, to challenge USC, it's about the size of the Grand Canyon. And it's going to take a lot more recruiting to fill that gaping hole that was left over from Kevin Sumlin. So if today's the beginning of the backbiting for all of you haters out there, drop it. I'll say it again. If this is the beginning for all the haters of the backbiting, I'm going to tell you, drop it. It's going to take at least 1, 2, 3 more classes of recruits until you're solid enough and you have enough depth and you have enough dudes and you have enough guys that are can't misses that don't make it, or you have a bunch of guys that you took a chance on and they play above their heads. You need a bunch of Scooby Wrights? Well, you're going to go find guys that weren't highly recruited, but they turn out to be beast, because for every guy that you find like that, you've got 3 that were 5 stars that don't amount to anything. Why is USC so much better than everybody else? Simple. The amount of dudes they have. I'll throw this at you because it's baseball. Why are the Yankees better than everybody else every year? Simple. The New York Yankees can afford to hire 5 mercenaries to come play for their team, 5 free agents that are coming there for the money. They might all be equally talented, reputation-wise, and at the height of their career. And if the Yankees bring in 5 of them and they have one role they need to fill, they've got the resources to bring in 5 guys. And if one of the 5 hit, they're going to the World Series. Happens every year. If you're and I'll use my old club, the Tampa Bay Rays, you have enough money to sign one dude, and he better fill that role. And if he doesn't fill that role, that hole is so big, it will drag you down, and you'll never be able to get past anything else. The more resources you have, the more mistakes you can make. So if you're the USC Trojans, you've got 5 5-star guys you're bringing in to play right guard as a freshman, and if one of those guys hits, you're the best recruiter of the whole wide world. You're a genius. If you're Arizona and you get 1 4-star and a bunch of 3s and a bunch of 2s, and that 4-star doesn't hit, well, you've got a problem. The more resources, the better chances you have of winning. So for Arizona and their defense right now, Arizona did a remarkable job on the offensive side of the ball, just filling so many holes. They've got wide receivers aplenty. They've got running backs aplenty. They've got depth at quarterback. They've got depth at tight end. They still need more bodies up front, but they've got 5 legitimate linemen that can play football right now to block. They did a great job of shoring up the offense. This offseason, oh, buddy, it better be defense because that's where you need the most help. So as much as you want to complain, as much as I complain, as much as I talk about the run fits and everything else on the pre- and the post-game show, here's what I'm going to tell you. On the defensive side, let's be very clear about this. This is a team that needs more bodies, more players, more depth. I can't have Paris Shan out there for 70 snaps a game. As much as I love Jerry Roberts and what he does, you can't do that. Keon Barrs, love Keon Barrs, can't ask him to play every down. They get worn down by the end of the game, and you need more depth to give those guys a breather. So that's why I'm asking for the defense, give me 1 stop a quarter. Get off the field, get there, get a chance to get a little bit of rest before you go back out there and fight again. And if you're able to stop them once a quarter and Arizona's able to drive the ball down the field, throw the ball with accuracy, under control, getting the ball in the hands of Cowing, getting the ball in the hands of T-Mac and the rest of the wide receivers, this is a winnable game. I want to talk more about Jayden DeLore because it is a big deal for everybody in Seattle. You heard it with Softy a little bit earlier. I'm going to talk about that coming up on the program. If you disagree with me, because I know, I see you, I hear you. I know there are people out there that are, let's just get, you know what? I invite you to call in right now.
Hello?
520-848-1290. Tell me I'm wrong. Disagree with me. Listen, I'm not afraid of new ideas. 520-848-1290. You want to text? I actually got the text working right now. Can't figure out how to do it on the computer, but I got it on my phone. 520-848-1290. Text the word Rich to 520-848-1290 if you disagree. We'll take your telephone calls. We'll read your text messages. I do want to talk about Jayden DeLore. It's a big deal. Oh, was it a big deal what happened last year? Will Washington come after Jayden for a little bit of payback after last year's game? We'll talk about that next. I'm Rich Herrera. Thanks for joining us, everybody. By the way, the text, I can read your text messages.
I will text you.
Text me. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, hand it to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creesa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creesa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the 3, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
4th down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Mathurin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellis, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Rare. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness. Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his 3rd foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from midcourt. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Mathurin with the ball for the Wildcats. Mathurin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko, feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline, circles back out top to Mathurin. 10 to shoot, 16 left in the ballgame. Mathurin, 3 balls straight away, good!
That's
We're tied.
a huge shot for Ben Mathurin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Mathurin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berryhill. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball. An amazing play by Jordan McLeod.
Brown will take the snap a yard deep.
Rich Rare Show rolls on. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Thanks so much for joining us. It's a Friday. Thank you for listening on 1290 AM, our app, streaming at wildcatsradio1290.com, both video and audio. Those of you that are watching us on YouTube or on Alexa. Hey, Alexa, play Wildcats Radio 1290. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Coming up in about 35 minutes from now, Glenn Howell, 5 o'clock, you get in your car, and you're always going to hear an Arizona insider. Kelvin Ifan, Lamont Hundley, Brian Jeffries, Roxy Bernstein, the Pac-12 Network. Or on Fridays, we talk with Glenn Howell. So that's coming up in just a little bit, 5 p.m. If you want to disagree with me, I'd love to hear from you. Love you. Call into the program. By the way, today's program is brought to you by Santan flavored whiskey, Caramello salted caramel whiskey, and Cinna maple breakfast whiskey. Listen to the program for your chance to win a $25 gift card, courtesy of Santan flavored whiskey, Caramello salted caramel. Number for you to join us, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290, or you can text me. And we live in a world where people text more than they call. I'm old school. I don't care. I will call you. And people are like, why don't you just send me a text? Because I want to talk to you. So if you want to text, though, I do have the text line working. So you can send me a text message. Text the word Rich. Text the word Rich to 520-848-1290. Same as our phone number, 520-848-1290. And I will take your text messages, and if it's good enough, I will read it on the air. I think that's pretty big of me, that I'll read your text messages on the air. So again, if you want to text into the program, text the word Rich, R-I-C-H, to 520-848-1290. If you do agree or disagree with me, I'm just telling you right now, as much as I hear and see the people whining and carping and complaining about the defense, I get it. I 100% get it. It's frustrating. But I think as I look at it, you need the dudes. And even, here's the other part of it is, if I've got guys and they're not getting the job done, what do? I bring up the next ones. Well, if I don't have enough depth, then what do I do? So you see how the issue is starting to build up. So for Arizona, you got to go with the guys. Now, they will make one change this week. In the star safety / linebacker hybrid position. So they're looking, they're trying, but you see Jacob Manu getting more. DJ will get more at that star position. He'll actually start this weekend. You're seeing more people get opportunities as the season rolls on, and it's because they're trying to. But as I look at it and I watch it on film, I think you just have to have more bodies in order for Arizona to stop anybody. All right, I was going to touch on this. Now, I'll do this very, very quickly. Jayden DeLaura is going to have the biggest challenge. And I said that last week, and I said that the week before, and I said that the week before that. But I will tell you right now, listen, you need to understand this. Tucson. Jayden DeLaura has a huge target on his back. Do not be surprised if there's a couple extra unnecessary roughness or roughing the quarterback calls that go against UW. You see, we treat him like an older player because we don't have a history with Jayden DeLaura because he came through the transfer portal. Most of the time you think transfer portal, what am I getting? A veteran, a senior, someone who's been around for a long, long time. That's what I normally get out of the transfer portal. Jayden DeLaura is a special case, though, because Jayden DeLaura went into the transfer portal because his head coach got fired. When Nick Rolovich got fired through the middle of the season, they made a promotion. They brought in a new coach who brought in a new offensive coordinator. That offensive coordinator came with a quarterback that he was bringing from his smaller school to to Washington State. So when Dickert takes over at Washington State, there's no room. It's a musical chairs game. And when this music is over, Jayden DeLaura found himself without a job, without a school, without a position. So as the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year, freshman, he was forced into the portal. Now, lucky for the University of Arizona, Arizona's able to open up a spot for him with open arms and said, hey, Jayden, come on in. We're ready to go. And he's able to jump right in there and get going. But because we don't have that history for him, we expect a lot more from him just because he's a transfer coming in. He's still growing. By the time, I'm telling you, he's going to lead Arizona to a bowl game. Maybe this year, maybe next year, the year after that. And again, he's not right now on the radar as the next great NFL quarterback. So there's not a rush to get him to get to that peak of where he's going to be in order to go to the next level. There's still a lot of time for him to grow. So if you think about him as a sophomore quarterback, does that sound a little bit different? Do your expectations change just a little bit as opposed to, here's your transfer quarterback? Transfer quarterback, I expect to be polished. Transfer quarterback, I expect to be Caleb Williams. I expect him to be Michael Penix Jr. at Washington. I expect him to be that quarterback that's already got everything figured out. He was just at the end of his career finding one more team to play for. That's what I expect when I hear transfer quarterback, not sophomore quarterback. He's going to have a lot asked for him this weekend, and this is probably going to be his toughest challenge all season long, because in order for Arizona to play, he's got to play under control. But if you're Washington, all you're going to look for is chaos to throw his way, because you know in chaos, his decision-making gets rushed, and there's an opportunity for a turnover. You know, if you put him in the middle of chaos and everything's spinning around him, there's a chance for you to make a defensive play. You know that because you played with him. So you're going to throw as much chaotic things his way as you possibly can. But the other thing that's going to affect Jayden de Laura this weekend, I think, in my opinion, is the fact that he's going to have to go face Washington, who's still mad at him for planting that flag on the 50-yard line. I've told you about this before. I love the fact that he did it because Arizona desperately needed some swagger, some confidence. He regrets doing it. I don't regret him doing it because you don't want me to plant the flag, then win the football game. Win the football game when I have this problem. Washington had dominated the Apple Cup, which is their version of the Territorial Cup, 7 years in a row. Washington State finally wins, and Washington State had to go through so much last year with their coach who didn't get the COVID shot, got fired. New coach comes in. They rallied around and won that game. De Laura led him to that victory over Washington, and with all that frustration of Rolovich having everything hanging over his head, finally getting fired, bringing in Dicker to take over, promoting him as defensive coordinator, and then moving along. There was a lot of frustration in the Washington State sideline, especially when you lose year after year after year after year after year after year after year. Losing your coach and everything else that went on. He simply went and said, you know what? My guys rallied. We're going to do this. Grabbed the flag. Waded through the crowd. I watched the video. You can find it on YouTube. He wades through the crowd. I don't know what happened to his helmet. I think he lost his helmet. But all the kids don't even notice there's a guy in football pads and jersey standing there until he gets to the 50-yard line. He's standing there. Hey, get up, move. Finally, they notice, oh, wait a minute, it's de Laura, quarterback, and he's got a flag. And he takes that sucker and he plants it right in the 50-yard line on their purple W. And that's incensed everybody in Washington ever since. So as he goes up there, he might not be wearing a Washington State uniform, but they all look at him as that quarterback from Wazoo that planted their flag on the W. JW.
Yeah, what's the statute of limitations as far as inter-rivalry transfers? So if you, let's say, something happens between Arizona State and player transfers, they're part of UCLA, whatever. Like
right.
that inter-transfer rivalry, clearly the Apple Cup's a big deal. If you've been up there, those guys, that's a very passionate rivalry.
Right.
They do not like each other. And I think Washington really wants to get back at the Cougars, right? They don't necessarily. I mean, Jayden de Laura is not involved in that program anymore.
Yeah,
however,
the
players who saw him do that, as you had the interview earlier today, he mentioned that there's some players on the defensive side are going to be looking at him, they're licking their chops a little bit more, just to maybe send a message that what you did last year was not okay. But what I'm asking is, how long is that statute of limitations as far as an incident that happens inter-rivalry with transfers and that old school still holding that grudge against that player?
Infinity.
So 5 years later, fifth-year senior, something happens as a freshman, fifth-year senior, that guy's still on your radar because he planted that flag.
Because I got a shot finally to – I don't always get a shot.
And they just got to win, right?
Well, I'm not always going to get a shot. Like I talk about this in baseball. People always think it's dumb. Why do you wait 4 years to get back at somebody? Because you got to pick your spot. If you hit a home run and you Cadillac and you show me up and I don't like it, well, I don't get to take it out of the next guy because I'm mad at him, because then I'm going to hurt my team. I got to wait till I get a chance. So you personally offended me. I'm going to get my shot back at you. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but it's going to be somewhere down the line where it doesn't hurt my team, because this is personal between you and I. It's personal. It's personal between the Huskies. It's personal to them. So I don't care what jersey he's wearing, they're still going to hit him a little bit harder. Simply because.
I agree with that.
Simply because. We're going to talk a lot about that on the pregame show tomorrow. We get on the air with you at 10. The show is from Casino del Sol tomorrow at 10 o'clock, counting down to the 2:30 kick. Number for you to join us, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Agree, disagree?
Hello?
You can also text the word Rich to 520-848-1290.
I will text you.
I'm waiting. 520-848-1290. We'll take more telephone calls. How much of a track meet is this going to get into? We'll talk about that coming up. And then Glenn Howell, 5 o'clock, all right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Mathurin between the rings. Over for Krisa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Krisa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Mathurin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
4th down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain, loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Mathurin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellas, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the board. ASU with the ball, down by 11, 3 have to go, steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his 3rd foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from midcourt. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Mathurin with the ball for the Wildcats. Mathurin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko, feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline, circles back out top to Mathurin. 10 to shoot, 16 left in the ball game. Mathurin, 3 balls straight away, good!
That's
We're tied.
Huge shot for Ben Mathurin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Mathurin drains a deep three from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. Two tight ends. Oregon, five-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berryhill. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball. An amazing play by Jordan McLeod.
Brown will take the snap a yard deep in the end zone. Straight back to throw. Has some time. Steps up in the pocket. The Wildcats have got him for a...
Richard Radio Show rolls on. Couple text messages. The team needs to believe in itself more, and the Wildcats will win 36-30. That's from Lou in Tucson. Rich, loved the show. Thank you very much. I'm not reading the rest of that. Yes, I know I'm good looking. 520-848-1290. Now, they're commenting, I've lost some weight.
Are there any let me teach you how to use a can opener text messages today?
No, I'm surprised. I'm just interested as adults, how many married men do we have, or how many women spoil their husband? Because if you missed it, I discovered today that I have the life skills of a second grader. Because with my wife out of town at her niece's wedding, which I didn't go to, I've discovered that I am incapable of taking care of myself or my two dogs. So if anybody wants to come over and help me take care of my two dogs, I'd appreciate it. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I was sitting there last night, 8:30 at night, thinking to myself, I'm hungry. And couldn't figure out how to feed myself until I got up and ran over and got a Freddy's steak burger. That's kind of sad. 520-848-1290. Rich, Chicago, bear down. Welcome, my friend. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290. Rich. I hear him. Rich, you there?
Yes.
There you are, Rich. Hello.
Hey, all right. I know I said this to you earlier about your listeners.
Go ahead. Can you hear me, Rich?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I said earlier, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Are you hearing something in the background?
No, I'm home.
Okay, I just want to make sure we had we fixed the phones. Okay. All right. I'm ready.
I think we're good. All right, you know me. I'm kind of an analytic.
Right. All right, Rich, I don't know if we're getting him. Are you there, Rich?
No, I'm here.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
Here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Are you? Wait a minute. You know what, folks? This is live radio. This is what you get when you get live radio. Are you hearing anybody else talking, or are you just hearing the two of us?
No, just two of you. I'm good.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm good. All right. You know me, because I handicap all kinds of games. And since I like you guys, I spend time looking at what I think can help you guys.
Yes, sir.
All right. So here's the latest. Well, the era is the 70s. I'm an old guy. But
okay.
Anyways, whatever that's worth. And we were good in the 70s because the only team we couldn't beat was Alabama, but that's okay. That's a different story. I kind of want to flip.
Your phone's breaking up, Rich. I'm getting every other word.
I had you on speaker. Is that better now?
Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's what it was.
All right.
Okay, now go for it.
All right. Here's.
Rich could have the worst phone. The only person I know has a phone worse than this is Boone. Are you there still, Rich?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, try again.
All right. Well, now that I got you off speaker, this should be better. Can you hear me now?
There you go. Go for it.
All right. Here's the latest. I know I sent this to you.
All right, put Rich back on hold. I don't know what's going on with my phones.
The phone should be good.
I don't know. He kept cutting out every other word. Folks, this is live. See, I told you I'm going to be transparent with you for everything we go. We reset the phones a little bit earlier.
We'll have Rich call back, and then we'll try to get him back on.
All right, you know what, Rich, call back, and I'll put you right back up. Maybe it's just a connection. But if you want to call in, just help me test the phone, 520-848-1290. Or you could text me, Rich. Text the word Rich to 520-848-1290. Text the word Rich to 520-848-1290. All right, we're getting Rich back on again. All right, let's try one more time. See if it's his phone or the connection, or we got this worked out. Rich, are you there? No, now, okay, there he is. Rich, there you are. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Well, the bigger question is, can you hear me?
Now I can. I think it was just that bad connection. All right, so go ahead. What do you got for me?
Here's the deal. Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead. Somebody's playing a joke on me. Go ahead.
That's all right. I mean, your producer is a good guy.
He is.
Here's the deal. I sent this to you earlier. Only so you'd have it for the show, but your listeners.
All right. You know what? I'll get back to Rich in just a second. Tell Rich. Let's get it back on in the next hour because I don't want to run out of time. Am I going to go to Paul in Phoenix next? All right. Let's. You know what? This is a good test, Paul. We'll see whether your phone works or not. That way I know whether it's my fault or your fault. Paul in Phoenix, welcome.
Breaker, good buddy. Rich?
Hello?
Rich, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I feel like the Verizon guy. Yes.
And bear down. Okay.
Bear down.
I can hear GW in the background. I can hear GW in the background as well.
Right now?
Yeah, I can hear him in the background as well.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay, that's what's going on. All right. Anyway, talk to me.
Okay. Just real quick, 34-23 Arizona, and like I mentioned to you yesterday, I think it was, I really think our defense is going to play a different game. They have to take some chances. There's no doubt about that. We can't play straight up, bend but don't break type of nonsense. Okay, I'm hoping that Coach Nansen says, guys, we're gonna have to let it all hang out. We got to do it. Let's take a few chances, and that doesn't mean don't let guys. It doesn't mean not to tackle guys and try to go for the ball. It means tackle guys, get two guys on a guy, tackle him, and have a third guy come in and strip him. But again, we will. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. We're going to get a defensive touchdown. And when's the last time we've gotten a defensive touchdown this year?
Tell me.
I'm waiting. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm asking you.
I'm trying to think. No.
Exactly. So it's time. We are overdue, my friend. And you know what? It's time. This defense, and that will help their confidence because sometimes the defense, you're out there grinding, and the next thing you know, at some point, if a big play can make the defense realize we can do that.
Well, it's confidence, it's momentum, it's all of that. It's the other team gets so. You're right in there, but there's more to it. So the other team marches down the field. They just have nothing but confidence. They just go, man, I could just, whatever I do, bang, we're going to roll the ball down the field. We're going to take it to you, and we can't be stopped. And when that happens, they just feel so good, and they get the momentum running, and they just run downhill. On the flip side, if you're the defense out there and you're struggling, you're getting frustrated, and you're getting penalties called against you, and you start questioning everything. Here's what's going on. Here's the big breakdown, because I asked Johnny Nansen about this. And I said, what is it? Because they keep talking about run fits, and they keep talking about gap integrity, and they keep talking about assignment and alignment. You hear Glenn preach that all day long, right?
Yes, he does.
I've got an assignment, okay? I've got an assignment, and then I've got to align myself to take care of that assignment, okay?
Yep.
But what's happening for the Arizona defense is they are getting to their pre-snap read. So if you've got the A gap, Paul.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they move, and all of a sudden now the defense has to shift over one gap. I've got to read that early enough so I can change my assignment so I can adjust my alignment. So I asked Johnny, I said, when are we having the breakdowns? He said, it's the pre-snap read. Now, if you listen to the show on Tuesday,
right,
we had Al Borges on with us.
Yes,
And he's an offensive genius. And the reason why, and I know there's a couple people that are complaining, like, what do you have that guy on for? He doesn't even watch our games. I don't want him to watch our games. I got plenty of people. I can go to any restaurant in town and find somebody who watched our games here in Tucson. I got plenty of guys to do that. What I needed was somebody who could break down X's and O's for us and explain things that we learned during the week and really go in depth. So the reason we have Coach Borges on with us every week is he's able to really break things down. So what was happening in the North Dakota State game was happening in the Oregon game, and it's happened to the Cal game, is they're giving this defense so many pre-snap reads to walk through. It's so many different looks. They line up in one thing, they run motion, so then I got to make an adjustment, and they're late making those calls and getting adjusted and everybody getting in the wrong spot. They need to do a better job of pre-snap read. People know where to go. And that's why when you hear Coach Nansen talk about we've got to simplify this, that means that the guys are not understanding what the pre-snap read is. And when they're making those adjustments, guys are supposed to move from maybe one technique over the top of the center to a different spot on shading a shoulder inside or outside, to his left and his right. And as they're getting in that wrong position, well, once I align in that wrong position, then I can never fulfill my assignment, and that's where the breakdown is. So that's why they're trying to make it as simple as they can. But Coach Borges said, my job as an offensive coordinator is to confuse the heck out of them. So if I know that when you have a full backfield, these are the tendencies that you're going to run, what's my job? He said, my job is to run out of my tendencies, and his goal was, this is brilliant if you heard it, he said his goal was to have the defense going back to the sideline after the first drive, questioning everything they did to prepare for the game. If he did his job, the defensive players are going over there, looking at their coach going, I have no idea what's going on. We practiced all week. If they're in this full house set, this is what they're going to run. And all of a sudden they threw the football out of there. We didn't prepare for that. So now all of a sudden I've got chaos and I've got confusion on the sideline. And the more confusion I have, the harder it is for them to read and react. Read the pre-snap read and react to it. The more chaos I cause over on the other side, the more they start doubting themselves, the more they start pointing fingers, the more they get frustrated, and the more I'm able to gash them. That's what's going on right now.
And let me give you how Paul would interpret that. Okay, what I'm thinking. Okay, guys, then you know what? Quit thinking so much. Too much thinking.
Too much thinking.
Okay.
What did Crash Davis say about thinking?
What did he say?
It only hurts the team.
Exactly. Stop thinking and start playing football. Christian Roland Wallace, Zero, young man, he's got to make some plays. Hunter Echols, make some plays. Jalen Harris, make some plays. Disrupt. I kind of wish it was going to rain tomorrow in Seattle. Yeah. I'm serious. Because let the ball be slippery, let it be goofy. But again, they have to. Again, I get the coaching. They're very well coached, but at the same time, if you get these kids thinking too much, they're in a system that's new. At some point, like me and Coach Nansen probably is exactly what he said. Let's dumb it down a little bit, and let's just go out there and play. Let's just be aggressive and make some plays, and that will be contagious. It will be contagious for this young team.
100%. 100%.
Rich, I feel bad that I'm not there to take you out for dinner tonight or something, because
you know what?
I hope you don't starve. If you come back tomorrow and you're 143 pounds, holy mackerel, we're going to be disappointed, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm a little upset.
This mortal form has grown weak. I need sustenance.
I need to figure out if I waist down to 330 pounds, you know something's wrong.
On your way home tonight, stop at Costco, get about 5 hot dogs, and just wrap them in paper towels for tomorrow, and just eat hot dogs all day long.
I was thinking of just going to get one of those Costco chickens and just the way I would in college, and just eat it out of the plastic the plastic container.
Dang it! It's in our fridge. My wife's making enchiladas out of it tonight, and I'm telling you what, they're some of the best.
Okay,
enchiladas.
so let me ask you this: how long have you been married?
37 years, sir.
How often does she take care of and do everything for you because you're incompetent? All right, see, that's your answer. Don't even answer.
Besides 90% of the time?
Yeah, I just be lost. I always tease her that, we're going to renew your scholarship. I just think that she grants me the opportunity to not live like a second grader. You know what I feel like?
Truth?
I feel like Tom Hanks in Big. Like I'm in an adult body, but I have the coping ability of a second grader.
My family always asks me. They say, "Paul, how old are you?" I go, "I'm 14."
That's what mine says.
Stuck.
I'm 14. So we only have how many? You have 2 daughters?
I got a son and a daughter, and I've got 2 granddaughters.
Okay. Son and a daughter, 2 grand. I got one son, and people always ask, "Oh, how come you didn't have more kids?" And she looks and points at me. She goes, "I already have one that I can't get rid of." So, anyway, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it.
Good luck to you this weekend. I'll think about you. If you end up on a milk carton by the end of this weekend, we'll know exactly where you are.
She comes back Tuesday, so I'm hoping that I can hold it together until she comes home.
Holy mackerel! Hey, you know what? Have people at the there won't be a Jed Fish show Monday night, will there?
No.
How are you going to feed yourself Monday night?
I don't know. And you know what? And my son's out to sea, so I don't even have him remind me, "Hey, Dad, I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat."
Oh boy, Uber Eats.
By the way,
Uber Eats, my friend.
Because he's as worthless as I am. That kid doesn't cook. That kid he goes to the academy, so he doesn't do his own laundry. They don't have time to do laundry, so he puts all his laundry in a bag, and they have a laundry service and dry cleaning.
You know what? We would do a GoFundMe page on Facebook, but I don't think people contribute to it for you. Sorry, you're on your own.
They probably do. They probably ask me to give them money because it's so pathetic.
Take an egg, glass bowl, crack the egg inside the bowl, put it in the microwave for a minute. You'll have a scrambled egg. There you go. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You're good.
I don't even know where the salt and pepper is. Get out of here. Thanks, brother. I'll talk to you. Bear down.
Talk to you later. Bear down.
I just feel bad that I've discovered that I really am a second grader, JW.
Well, just self-improvement month. Could be.
Nah, she's back on Tuesday.
Yeah, why? I mean, that's the thing, Rich, is that what you're really complaining about is 2 days. If the issue is that she'll be back, you won't have to worry about can opener stuff in a couple of days.
That's true. If I can just survive the next couple of days, I'll be able to do it. I just have to bear down. All right, coming up next, the one, the only, Glenn Howell, our Arizona insider. We'll talk to him about the game coming up on Saturday. We'll be on the air with you at 10 a.m., counting down to the 2:30 kickoff. We'll do the show live from Casino del Sol, getting ready for the game right here on 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Mathurin between the rings. Over for Krisa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Krisa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for 2. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, Goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins. Throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three. Blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it. It's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. Into the backfield and drop. No gain. Loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry. Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Matherin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins. Throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three. Blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it. It's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way. Out to Tabellis. Down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments for the University of Arizona Wildcats?
Fourth down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on fourth down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, Arizona. Oh, did they need that? My goodness. Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball. Down by 11, so they have to go. Steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his third foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like what, driving down that was from mid-court. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Matherin with the ball for the Wildcats. Matherin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko. Feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline. Circles back out top to Matherin. 10 to shoot. 16 left in the ballgame. Matherin, 3 balls straight away. Good!
That's
We're tied.
Huge shot for Ben Matherin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Matherin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berrios. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it and made a great play on the ball. An amazing play by Jordan McLeod.
Brown will take the snap a yard deep in the end zone. Straight back to throw. Has some time. Steps out of the pocket. The Wildcats have got him for a safety. Second safety Arizona has recorded this season. It's a 24-12 ball game, and the Cats will get the ball.
That's big time.
Early on the field is a safety.
Yes. That's big time by Arizona. That time defense did a great job of just closing the pocket from the inside, and then the pressure on the outside by Abear, they just got him. They just got there. They won their blocks that time. Excellent job by Arizona defense and really changing the momentum of this game.
To you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Chill on, Wildcats. Here is your host, Rich Herrera.
All right, time for our Arizona Insider. He joins us every Friday at this time, the one, the only, Glenn Howe, our guest here on Wildcats Radio 1290 as we get you ready for tomorrow's pregame show. We get going on the air at 10 o'clock live from Casino del Sol as Arizona takes on UW. Mr. Howe, bear down. Happy Friday to you, my friend.
Bear down, Rich. What's happening? How are you?
I am good. Now, I've declared this because, I've got a certain position in this community that I can declare things and kind of throw things out for everybody, right? I think I've earned that. So I've declared because of, how awesome I am.
I am a golden god!
I have declared the game tomorrow as winnable for the University of Arizona. What say you?
I think it's winnable. I think it's a winnable game because, I think they're vulnerable on the pass defense, and I think they're on our passing game against their pass defense.
Right.
And I think they're vulnerable, and we can run the ball against them.
Okay.
I think we can do both, but it's just that I just am concerned about our defense if we're going to ever see the ball.
So that's so I know you've been going on Pac-12 radio quite a bit. I went on yesterday, and I quoted you and Kelvin to make myself sound a little smarter. And Jeff Schwartz asked me, what's Arizona need to do to win? I said, give me one stop. Give me one stop, because if this turns into a track meet, just give me one stop and put the ball into Jaden Delores' hand and let him out duel Michael Penix Jr., but I need one stop out of this defense. I don't care whether it's a turnover, it's a strip, it's an interception, or it's out on downs and they have forced him to punt, but they need a stop. Number one, to get the defense off the field so they're not incredibly exhausted by the time we get to the fourth quarter. And I need them just to stop them from scoring once and then put it on the offense to outscore them.
Yeah, and we need a couple of those, Rich. I think we need a couple of those. We need maybe 2 or 3 stops.
Okay, 1 a quarter, 2 a half.
Yes, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. If we could do that, we got to be able to play disciplined football on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay, so help me out with this. So I've been doing as much research and asking and looking around and digging. So here's what I found. I'm ready, and I want to run this by you. You ready?
Yep.
So I asked Johnny Nansen. I know that we keep talking about run fits, and you explain to me what those are, gap integrity, and then your 2 favorite words, assignment and alignment. So we understand all of those, but these still aren't getting fixed yet. So I asked Johnny this week, where is the breakdown? Is it the reacting or the reading? Is it in pre-snap? Or is it once the game begins and we'll see what happens? He said it's pre-snap. So to me, that says pre-snap, the offense is throwing out whatever they do to confuse the defense. The defense isn't reading it. And by the time they figure it out, the play's already started and they're in the wrong gap, and I've got no gap integrity. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right, but it also sounds that what they're doing is that before they do all their shifting, you notice that a lot of teams have been shifting and then going into that triple formation, the trips. They've been doing that a lot. And a lot of teams have been doing that to us.
And you're seeing a lot of unbalanced. You're seeing a lot of unbalanced formations.
Unbalanced, yes. And what they're doing is that we're not getting. I don't think we're getting a good call from our defensive backfield, and also from the linebackers of knowing where they need to be in alignment, and then shifting those guys on the defensive line.
And I don't think
linebackers. The linebackers are going to be telling the guys, giving a call and telling them, making the guys in front move. So we got to get that down and be ready for that. And if that's the problem, then we really need to do some serious serious film study and understanding our formations.
And that's where I'm going with this, because you see, and I didn't understand what unbalanced line meant, so maybe you can help me out with a little bit. So my time working doing national games, I had an analyst, and he would go crazy when he saw the defense line up, and then the offense would come out with an unbalanced line, and he'd be screaming, unbalanced line, unbalanced line, unbalanced line. And we're like, what? I have no idea what that means. He's coaching from the booth, unbalanced line, unbalanced line. I'm like, I'm standing on the sideline, a silent reporter. I go, Coach, I have no idea what you're talking about. Explain what happens when people toss out that unbalanced line against this defense and what's happening.
An unbalanced line is that they can do a couple of things. They can have just one guard on one side and then have the guard and the tackle on the other side, where they have two tackles and two guards, or they could do two tackles and two guards. I mean, a guard center, a tackle, and a tackle, or they could do a guard center and then they bring a guy off the line, or bring a wide receiver or a tight end onto the line. So that's unbalanced.
So traditionally, right.
You have two guards and two tackles.
Which we see traditionally.
Okay. Yes.
Against North Dakota State, when they would run that unbalanced line, they might run that, and they'd have like an extra tight end or two, or someone standing just off right there, and all of a sudden now we've got three guys out there blocking, and I have no idea where I'm supposed to go.
Yes, that's exactly. They'll have an extra blocker there. And then sometimes they don't even run to the unbalanced side.
Because all of a sudden I'm moving all my guys over to the unbalanced side. Boom, I'm going to take the weak side and take off where there's less guys.
Yes, exactly.
And
so they'll do that, and they'll move sometimes the tight end in there as the tackle instead of the guard and the tight end. And then they'll have two tackles on one side. But they just move, and then sometimes they'll bring in an extra tight end, so there'll be three tight ends in there.
And you're seeing that more and more against Arizona, and then they're having a hard time reading it and figuring out where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, and they're just running the ball right at us.
Okay. On I'm trying to remember now what day of the week we have Coach Borges on Tuesdays. When we have Coach Borges on. And like I said, I don't bring him on to break down Arizona. I bring him in to break down football. And as offensive coordinator, and again, worked at UCLA, worked at Auburn, at Michigan, so he knows the game of football. He said one of his goals is, in the first 15 plays that he scripts out, is to upset the preparation for the defense. In other words, if you've got a trend and I'm always going to run this out of this formation, and you've been practicing it, okay, guys, if you see this formation, this is what they're going to do. He said one of the things that he would do is he'd do something contrary to that. And his goal was to have the defense go back to the defense coordinator, and he's like, what's going on? And the guy goes, Coach, we practice all week. When they come in this heavy set, this is what they're going to run. They ran something completely different. He goes, it completely, absolutely ruins a defense, because now they're questioning their preparation and they're confused. They have no idea what to do.
Absolutely right. I can't make an additional comment on that, because that's exactly what they try to do. They run the same formation but run a different play. That's what they're trying to do. So if you can do that, if you can scheme like that, that is the ideal situation.
Would you experience that? Would you go, hey, listen, I know, would the coaches go, hey, listen, I know this is one of our favorite plays. We're going to run this out of here in the very beginning of the game because we want to cause some chaos on the other side?
Oh, yeah. I would definitely say this is the formation. And you know who? There's a guy that high school coach here in town that does that fantastically. It's Jeff Skurin. He would run the same formations and run different plays out of there. He'd run different formations and then run the same play. Those are the kind of scheming that you would do that to really offset, because when the kids are coming in and they're saying, okay, I know what they're doing, and then all of a sudden, bam, they're doing something else, that's the perfect situation for a offensive coordinator. And then you start running the plays. Then you go back to running the plays that are actually in that formation that they've been studying, and you run it right at them. So it just confuses the heck out of them.
See, and again, I keep going back to, we think we know the game of football because, hey, we know what a cover two is, and we hear somebody talk about one technique, two technique. But, I mean, all this inside skinny stuff in football, I don't know if it's good or bad that we've kind of pulled the curtain back of the game because people understand a little bit more about the game, but they also don't understand the intricacy. I told Coach this week, I said, I don't know how much you like coaching football, but you should go work for the CIA if you're kind of pulling that kind of subterfuge right now.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, it's better to have informed fans, okay? I think they enjoy the game better.
Right.
And they'll understand why things are happening. And that's what I think when football gets better is when they understand why it's happening. Because they just see it like, oh, my gosh, the guy blew it this way. They don't understand that, they were supposed to, this defensive defender was supposed to, he's not really supposed to make the tackle. He's supposed to push it back inside to the inside where his help is coming. Okay? Those are kind of things that you need to understand football better. Is why is the guy taking on the blocker and not going after the running back because he has help. He should have help because that's the way the defense is designed for him to push the running back into to where his help is.
I mean, there's so many times.
Important.
There's so many times. I'm sorry. I'm cutting you off because I'm so excited when we get to this part. When we start talking about these things, but it's almost like sometimes we forget that sometimes an offensive lineman, sometimes a defensive lineman are pawns, canceling each other out. So the running back tries to blow by a linebacker, or that defensive lineman will give himself up, take on two blockers, and free up that linebacker to attack the ball carrier.
Exactly. That's someone else. And if you look back at some of the defenses that were some great defenses, you look at our defense in 1983 to 86, 87, with Larry Smith. We had guys that are up front, Joe Drake and Dave Wood, Ivan Lesnick, Steve Bodway, and every single year, you'd see Jim Birmingham, Chris Burgett, all these different guys up front, George Hinkle. You see all these guys every year. Our linebackers were leading the Pac-10 in tackling. And everybody's like, why are these guys leading? Because that's the way it was designed. It was designed for our guys up front to not let those linemen get up to the next level. They were almost blocking them.
Right.
Okay? And then they would not let them go to the next level. And then our linebackers were such good tacklers. Ricky Lamont, Brent Wood, and also Byron Evans were great blockers. Tacklers, great tacklers. That if they had a tackle on one-on-one, they're making that tackle. And that's where it was designed.
We're talking with Glenn Howell right now. Of course, he and Kelvin and I will have the pregame show coming up at 10 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be live at Casino del Sol. What did you want to talk about? Because I got one more question I got to ask you as we play football 101.
I want to just make sure that our defense can probably say to themselves, enough is enough. We got to stop the run. That's what I think that needs to happen, is that they're going to just, make that decision that we got to do by any means necessary, stop the run, because they got to be tired of it.
Okay.
Tired of it.
So I asked this question today. Michael Penix Jr. is great at throwing the ball down the field. Washington does not have a full stable of running backs right now. They're a little thin. Does Washington see what everybody else has done and say, heck with this, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, we're going to run the ball down their throat the way that everybody else has? Or does he stay with his strength and try to throw the football down the air and it gets into an aerial attack back and forth?
No, I think they're going to try to run the ball. They're going to run to pass. I think that's what they're going to try to do. Even though they don't have their backs are injured, I read about that during this week. But I think they're at Washington. They'll have a back in there that is not, no one knows about him, and he's gonna get to run the ball, and it's going to be an opportunity for that kid to be able to run the ball, and he's going to be excited about running against Arizona defense because that's what people do. So I think they're going to try to run to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Yeah.
Pad level. Jed's talked about pad level. You and I talked about this off the air the other day when it comes to the defensive line. When he says we got to get better pad level, we got to get better leverage. What does that mean?
Leverage means they have to be able to they can't be, their shoulder pads can't be higher than the offensive lineman's shoulder pad. I see that a lot, and you can't be peeking over the shoulder pads. What you got to do is you got to be able to have an athletic position where you're in a position where you're extending your arms and you'll be able to shed the blocker. If you're too high, you have no leverage of shedding the blocker. So you got to extend, triple extend with your hips, ankles, and knees, get out, and then shed the blocker and stay low. Because otherwise, if you're standing up high, they're going to, especially on double teams, you're just going to be like, you just give them your bus ticket because you're going for a ride.
Because I've seen that a lot of times where you'll see the Arizona defender and he's almost standing 3/4 of the way up instead of having his pads low. And you see them get underneath, and all of a sudden it's like two little feet wagging in the air when you push a little kid.
Yeah, and you know what happens then? Then the linebackers can't flow. Linebackers are running into traffic. The linebackers don't want that kind of stuff. I remember in high school, in high school, I played defensive end, and they were double teaming me and blowing me back. And Jack Del Rio, who I played with high school, All-American USC, and now the defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, told me, he said, Glenn, you cannot get blown. I can't make any tackles.
Because you're in the way back. And he can't slide to the side.
Yeah, he can't slide and make the tackle. And that guy made all the tackles. Believe me, he made all the tackles. Okay? And he told me straight up, he yelled, got in my grill, and said, you got to do something. I don't care what you do. So what I started doing is creating a pile.
Yeah.
Attacking one of the guys because they said we're gonna double team this guy. I'm 6'4", 235, 230 at in high school. That was a pretty decent sized guy. So they were trying to, and I was standing up, and so I started getting down, attacking the guy low, and they couldn't move me. I created a pile.
I remember.
So that's what we have to be able to do.
I remember someone told me once when you have a trap play coming your way, and you recognize it because all of a sudden the guy that you're ready to take on, he moves off to somebody else, and you just see yourself standing there like, oh my gosh, there's nobody touching me. You better get down and make a pile because there's a guard that's pulling, that's ready to just blow you out of that hole because that running back's coming behind you. And if you can make a pile right there, maybe you don't take them on, but if you cause a pile right there, there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's another thing that we have to be smart on. If somebody crosses your face and goes up to the next level, that means somebody's coming. What they're doing, if you start smelling salt and pepper, you start smelling salt and pepper, that means that the guy's salt and peppering you to get ready to get eaten by a doggone pulling guard or a tackle. Okay, they're ready to. They're queuing you up. So you better be ready to look inside. As soon as he goes across your face, look inside and be ready. And then what they're teaching is wrong arm. So you take your outside arm and go inside. You're wrong arming it. It's called wrong arm. That's the technique that you use. And I even talked to Brooks Reed today. One of our guests is going to be on the show tomorrow about wrong arming do they still do that in the NFL? And he said, yeah, they still do it. They still do it.
I can't wait for that tomorrow and in the huddle with Glenn Howell.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're in the huddle. We're having James DeBow.
Yep. Okay, so James DeBow's coming in the huddle, right?
In the huddle, he's going to be James DeBow, defensive back, played at U of A, made the famous fourth down play against ASU, stopped them at the goal line. Great teammate, great guy. Also, I put in there running back because he was a running back also.
Okay.
He played running back when he first came, and he played at running back, not, was in the, scout team or anything. He played running back in games, and then they moved him to defensive back. And then in the players only segment, we have Brooks Reed. He was, first team All Pac-10 player, second round pick for the Houston Texans, and a 9-year NFL pro vet. So we're going to have him in there and talk about, we had some really good questions. I think we got some good questions for him for our listeners to understand, decisions when he knew that he can play at that level and things like that, to really get into the minds of some great players, when that light went on.
Right.
And said, you know what, I can really do this,
And then who else do we have coming on tomorrow?
And then in the captain's corner, we had Daniel Greer, a guy that played with Kelvin, who was just you're talking about a beast. This guy was a beast. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he was just unblockable, really.
Yeah. Well,
just unblockable.
He came from a great program.
Oh, he came from. I thought he went to some not a very good high school.
No, he went to the high school that he went to has produced some legendary people. And I can't wait to talk to him about that tomorrow because he went to North Salinas High School. He was a North Salinas Viking that produced some incredible players like Del Rogers, who played for the Packers. Anthony Toney played for the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, Greer went there, and then they had one other guy that was part of that football program that's legendary in sports. So I can't wait to talk to him about all of that.
Yeah, I wonder who that is.
In fact, I will tell you the quote. I told you and Kelvin the quote today. The head football coach there, who had been there forever, said, he's talking about this individual. He goes, I've never had anybody with a lack of athletic talent and a bad attitude and poor work ethic like this guy. He could be the worst football player we've ever had at North Salinas High School.
Oh, my gosh. Are you taking that flag? Are you waving that flag?
He wore number 53 in your hearts. He was the left tackle. He was the left guard. And the right end, he guarded the water bucket on the right and sat on the end of the bench. That would be Rich Herrera. There you go. Glenn, thank you so much. I'll see you and Kelvin tomorrow morning.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, man. Bear down.
Bear down. Thanks. That's Arizona Insider for today.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio. This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show. Now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube at Wildcats 1290 and our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Terry crosses middle, handed to Matherin between the rings. Over for Creasa. Checked by Campbell. High screen from Koloko. Creasa around it, drives right. Throw it for Koloko, who slams it down for two. Lamb set. And the pitch to Susak, driven out towards right field. That is going to get down for a base hit and go all the way to the wall. Casagrande headed for third. They're going to wave him around. He's coming home, and the Wildcats have tied it up. Susak with an RBI double to right center. And we're still playing ball. Tied at 16 in the bottom of the 10th. Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Mathurin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Thank you so much for tuning into our stream. We'll be back in just a bit. Until then, how about some Arizona Wildcat highlights?
Fourth down and less than a yard. Trojans will go for it in a tie game. Slovis out of the shotgun. Step to his left. Step the handoff. It is good. Backfield and drop. No gain. Loss on the play. Cats take over.
That's a huge play by Arizona. Explosive play in the backfield that time.
Shot blocked by Koloko, who grabs it out of the air. Ahead to Dalen Terry, Arizona with the ball, minute 30 to go, and a 6-point lead. Juzang working right, drives to the bucket, put up, blocked by Koloko, grabbed by Larson. Arizona ball, 38 seconds left. For Bernard, goes right, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Mathurin. Arizona ball, 22 seconds left. Campbell down for the Bruins, throw it out to Riley. He'll shoot the three, blocked again by Koloko. Ballo grabs it, it's over. Championship to Tucson. Dalen Terry quickly the other way, out to Tabellis, down the lane to throw it down with the left hand. Look out. The locomotive slams it home.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rich Herrera. Show will be back in just a little bit. Thanks for tuning into our stream. Until then, how about some great moments from the University of Arizona Wildcats?
4th down and 2, Arizona. Down 14-0. Wildcats on 4th down this year are 12 of 20. Offset backfield. Plummer to throw the ball, looking, throwing towards the back of the end zone, and it's hot! Touchdown, Arizona! Oh, did they need that? My goodness, Booby Curry had to leap in the air to take the ball over the top of the defender, and the Cats are on the field. ASU with the ball, down by 11, 3 have to go, steal by Koloko. He's going to drive the other way and slam it home, and foul by Lawrence.
Why Lawrence contested the big man, Christian Koloko, with defensive steal and flush.
Lawrence picks up his 3rd foul. Big guys love to play point guard. Koloko looked like one driving down that was from midcourt. 3-point lead again for TCU. Down to 30 seconds left. Mathurin with the ball for the Wildcats. Mathurin around a Koloko screen, picked up by Lampkin. Go outside for Koloko, feed it to Terry, right corner. Terry can't go baseline, circles back out top to Mathurin. 10 to shoot, 16 left in the ballgame. Mathurin, 3 balls straight away, good!
That's
We're tied.
Huge shot for Ben Mathurin in Arizona. Timeout TCU. This ball game is knotted up.
12.6 seconds to go. Ben Mathurin drains a deep 3 from straight away. He's got 24 points, and we're all even.
Hey, sports fans, this is Rich Herrera. Thanks so much for tuning into our stream. Back in just a bit. Until then, how about some highlights from the University of Arizona?
McLeod's going to line up under center. Wiley, the running back. Receiver either side. 2 tight ends. Oregon, 5-man front. They shift. Play fake, rolling right. McLeod looking to throw. Going deep. Down, trying to find Berrios. Makes the catch inside the 25-yard line. Still loose inside the 15. First down, Arizona.
What a play by McLeod. He was smacked, but he had the presence of mind to know where Berryhill was. He threw the ball. He underthrew the ball, and Berryhill was looking back at it.
Rich Herrera on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, just a couple of minutes before we're going to bring you an encore of our interview with Dave Softy Mahler from KJR. He's going to talk a lot about UW. Can't wait to welcome Jaden DeLora back to Seattle. But I wanted to answer a text message real quick. This is from Clint. Rich, do you think the Cats can get the community behind them? I feel like they just need that 12th man. You know what? Great question. Absolutely, 100%. And unfortunately, I think the community is a little jaded. And they feel like they've been there before and they've been jilted so many times. So Desert Swarm, was amazing. But then Arizona got used to getting 8 wins, going to a bowl game, and they go, when are we going to get to the Rose Bowl? And all of a sudden, getting 8 wins, 9 wins, getting to a bowl game wasn't enough. And the people start saying, we could do better than that. We should be able to get over the top and finally win and beat USC and get that championship. So the local media turned on Coach Tomey. Riders helped run him out of town. And Arizona says, we're going to go out and get the best coach we can get, and we're going to get a big-time coach from a big-time school that has a name. And everyone goes, yes, because we're used to going to a bowl game, and we want to go to the Rose Bowl. And they went out and got John Mackovic, which is a huge name at the time. And the community got excited for Mackovic coming in here because he was a name that you knew. Players didn't like it. Dick Tomey's players didn't like playing for Mackovic and threatened to walk out and boycott. And the younger players got mad at the older players, and it turned out to just be a dumpster fire. People saw it blow up in front of their eyes, and all of a sudden they're like, whatever. So then you go out and you hire Mike Stoops, and he brings his brother with him, Mark Stoops. Now the Stoops boys are coming in, and this is when Oklahoma's at their very pinnacle. And Bob Stoops is winning national championship, and we're watching the Arizona coach. We're watching our coach standing on the sideline, hiding behind the Oklahoma bench, trying to help Brent Venables win a championship. That's how good the Stoops brothers were. And he gets Arizona to the Las Vegas Bowl, and you're like, here we go. And that didn't work out, so people were disappointed. So then we go, let's go get the best coach that's out there. I know, we'll get Rich Rod. You bring Rich Rod in, who was phenomenal at West Virginia, got a raw end of the deal at Michigan, but now you're going to go get that coach who was just good enough for the Michigan Wolverines. I'm going to bring him here to Tucson. That's going to get us over the top. And he got Arizona to the Fiesta Bowl, and then the whole thing blew up. And fans were disappointed once again. And you could see as the fans get excited, and then it's like Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown. Because next you go, let's go get Kevin Sumlin. Kevin Sumlin. Do you see what he did with Texas A&M and Johnny Football? Kevin Sumlin will finally get us to the Rose Bowl. And you know what happened. Boom. And now you bring in Jed Fish. And Jed's done everything he possibly could do to get involved in the community. He's gone to the fraternity houses. He goes and talks to the students. He's gone out in the community. He's done everything. Rebuilt the facilities, got him back up in this arms race we have in college football, and he's done everything. But are the fans going to let themselves dream once again of like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football? Or have they just seen that show one too many times? So Arizona's got to win, I think, before the fans sell out and become the 12th man, because they've been jaded and burnt too many times. But I will tell you this, for me, I'm Charlie Brown, man. I'm going to keep trying to kick the football as much as I can over and over and over again, because if you don't try, you never succeed. You can either quit, not show up, and go, we're never going to do it anyway. And you'll never get an opportunity. Or you can go up there and try to kick the football. She's going to pull the football away, but how do you know that you'll never be able to kick the football unless you try? That's my thought. Clint, thanks for the text. I appreciate it. Coming up next, Dave Softy Mahler joins us, KJR Radio in Seattle. He and I will preview Arizona and Washington. That's next here on 1290.
This is the Rich Herrera Radio Show, now streaming on Facebook Live and YouTube.